Welcome, everyone. Today, we'll talk about liasoning and advocacy in this video. So, everything to do with liasoning is nothing but communicating and building a relationship with external organizations, be it a regulatory organization, be it other media organization, be it a general public. Advocacy, on the other hand, is proficiency of the fact that you are doing the right thing or whatever you are doing, or probably ensuring that peoples are in the same page as per your executions are all concerned. So, action by employer, organization design to influence law. Did I say regulatory authority? Regulation. Did I say compliance authority or the federal government? And the general attitude and approach of decision maker in socio-economic policy in favor of the organization, the member, the government, keeping everyone on the same page. That is what liaising and advocacy is all about it. So, action by employer organization designed to influence laws, regulations, general attitude, and approach of decision making in socio-economic policy in favor of the members per se. So, what are basically dividing into it? We are dividing nothing. Probably we are talking about advocacy as in all activities that is aimed altogether to influence the attitude and the policies thereby, and that is what we are looking for it. Nothing but advocacy is everything, every activity just to influence certain section of the stakeholders, be it the regulatory authority, be it the general public, be it the media, is all known as lobbying. Whereas liaising is a key advocacy tool, specific activities that we go around building relationship. That did I say with an external organization, as in what is to be required, aiming to make decision makers on a specific stand on a specific issues per se. So, liaising and advocacy is action by employers, organization, and designed to influence law, regulations, general attitude and approach of decision makers in socio-economic policies for their benefit, and that is what is basically liaising advocacy is all about it. Now, how does it comes around it? Remember, is the broad method of persuasion that comes. That's what we are looking forward to it. How do we do it? The techniques are direct and indirect communication, private or public, ongoing or campaign, and it can be anything, part of marketing style. It's completely broad persuasion. People might say, what is private? Probably giving kickbacks, giving some sort of comfort zone or extra leeway so that people have a positive frame of mind. We are talking about influencers as such. Public probably pursuing and educating the general public about what we are doing and how we are doing, what was the end result that we are intending to come across with it. Advocacy, on the other hand, is all activities that aims to influence attitude, policymakers, not only one, but everything is known as lobbying or advocating or even lobbying. So at the core of an organization strategy, then this why do we do this? The idea is about liaising and advocacy. Why do we do this? Because we try to generate some goodwill on behalf of the company that we are working around it. So what is activities? It's an action undertaken by EBMO. Now, if we look out here to influence law, regulations, general attitude that comes around it, what kinds it needs to be done in a socio-economic policies? How do we go around it? Now, this is needs to be done by following steps, perhaps. First and foremost thing, what do you want to achieve? Where do you are standing? What is your end objectives? How you would love to achieve it? What is it? How will you need to convince? Whom to convince? How will you go about it? And that is what the actions taken by EBMO is all about it. So, why advocacy? Key reasons for businesses to join organization. Why? Because we always believe in numbers. Because numbers is all the major part of the countries would be looking into the form of government democracy. So we are believing in numbers, and democracy is all about numbers. So the more the members, the more the merrier it is. So it means more members means more advocacy. More members means better opportunities, better services, and this goes on and on and on. It's a virtuous circle that goes around it. It benefits the member organization, perhaps. So, focus needed, crowded space required for EBMOs, European Business Member Organization, as the case might be, seek synergies, seek commonalities, sees a point of interest which is common to every one of them, other than the civil society groups, to ensure a stronger voice with more substance. Ensure the position developed for adoption are evidence based rather than by clear buy-in from members thereby. Basic principles, all the strategies of European business member organizations adopts will depend on the issue, consideration, political system in place. Three elements of advocacy is everywhere. Remember, we're talking about democracy, dictatorship, communism. Different kind of political system might be there. Multi-party, single party, double party, political parties. I'm talking about it. So what we are looking into it, we are looking to see something. We are looking to find someone who can talk on behalf of us. We are talking some brand ambassador that we want to go around it. We are looking for some platform where we can say it so that we can have the maximum audiences around. Yeah, what is something to say is what we is with the mandate around it. Founding documents of EBMO are constitute statutes, bylaws, articles of submission, association must be mandated for EBMO to engage in an issue. The key objective is nothing but to improve environment of businesses. Did I say EBMO is European Business Member Organization, which are incorporates the principles and enabling environment for sustainable enterprises? Important that founding documents are up to date. If the mandate to engage is not clear, government or other stakeholders could bring an interventions to the end about it, and that is what we are looking forward. Something to choose or something to see as choosing an issue. Regardless of the mandate, no EBMO can deal with all issues, and that is absolutely true. Not everybody can deal with everything. So people need to be focused. People need to be broken up. Please understand, it's a business environment, and business environment is vast. You can never put a tab on things. EBMO must undertake analysis of the national situation, develop business agenda and strategic plan to prioritize issues thereby, and how do we come across with it. The ILO, or International Labour Organization tripartite constitute identifies 17 pillars, 1 7, for enabling environment for a sustainable enterprises, which is unanimously endorsed in 2007 ILC, the International Labour Conferences, as in thing. So, what are the issues that we go around it? Is peace and political stability. It is good governance. It is education, training, lifelong learning, social dialogue. We're talking about information and communication technologies. We're talking about respect of human lives, international labor standard, entrepreneurial culture, talking about trade and sustainable economics. You see, there are so many issues that I'm trying to highlight in front of you. Enabling legal and regulatory framework, social justice, social inclusions, adequate social protection, physical infrastructure, access to financial services, you name it, we have it. Rule of law and secure properties, responsible stewardness of the environment, fair competition, sound and stable microeconomic policies, and good management of the economies thereby. So once we have choosing, we have once we have to say something, or we have chosen an issues, the publication and wide dissemination is important. European Business Member Organization, what are my issues and how do I promote those issues or promote that awareness or create a situation where we need to describe our position, is to raise public awareness of the importance of particular issues to the businesses, to signal the members and other stakeholders that EBMO is a serious organization working on behalf of the other members. Three themed, one, two, three. What are they for business agenda? What is to be wanted or what is to be achieved? Second is an identification of an obstacle, impediment, difficulties for private sector development. And the third one is recommendation, what needs to be done for reform, for change. Such documents demonstrated EBMOs is driven by the policies and not politics per se. Allow me to read it for you to understand. If an employers and a business members organization EBMO are to be effective in their advocacy efforts, they must have a clear understanding of the objectives they seek to achieve. Now, what are they? We are talking about PEST, as in political, economical, social, and technological. How do they do it? With SWOT analysis, as in strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The list of potential issues generated through this process will probably be long. The next step will be to refine the list on the basis of relevances of the issues to the organization members and the likelihood of advocacy successes. When the organization has received its members' views on the advocacy priorities, it is the time to turn those broad advocacy objectives, the national business agenda. Remember, then you want to make it into whatever your ideas were. If you can promote those ideas, if people are well accepting your ideas, now can that be made into some kind of rules, laws, as in processes once this has been widely accepted and understood. So this national business agenda on which organization will develop a specific campaign plan. At this point, it is difficult to ensure that advocacy objectives are approved by the board. The organization will now have its first real result, the national business agenda. This concise list of advocacy objectives that the organization intends to pursue is valuable documents and deserve broad circulation and a degree of publicity. So, a quick checklist. What we are looking into it first and foremost is a written liaising and advocacy strategy, a clear written objective described in terms of desired policy outcomes, a designated individual responsible for advocacy, formal review of current and future opportunities, regular formal method to consult with the members on an annual basis or a biannual basis, advocacy strategies and objectives to be reviewed and approved by the board. Board formally reviews the strategies at least once in a year. Formal processes for keeping the members up to date, the formal communication process that we are talking about it. Formal process for reporting the members of your advocacies as in the employers and business members organization is concerned, and the media strategy that makes you media choices thereby. So now this was an issue where you wanted to choose an issue, present an issue, uh, demand it. Now, can we have a reactive approaches? There are so many of things. Yeah? Plethora of proposals for new regulation is using EBMO or the employer business management, the members organizations, time and resources. What are we looking into it? Because of the concern of increased business cost, often EBMO response is seen as unwarranted, not required, negative terminal in negative terms. Important to put forward alternative proposal backed by data, examples to find something positive to say about the proposal. And how do we go ahead? Often it is points to the details that are objective and not to the initiative itself. Concern also rises about implementation of the issues and precedents, as the case might be. Always important to state the intentions of the EBMO work constructively to achieve the best possible result per se. Now, these were reactive issues. Now, can we have the evidence-based position? Number one is indispensable starting point, the beginning point in developing business agenda, advocating for change and international service, measuring disease, the cost of doing businesses, level of corruption, the human development, the objectivity and the impartiality of the reports. Add weightage to the proactive advocacy. Comparison can be undertaken within a geographical region and with a smaller, similar sized economy. Most important is the country years on year progress within the ranking per se. Now, something to say in as in cost benefit analysis, what are they? How do we go around it? CBA. Important for EBMOs to undertake own investigation with members' cost. Now, something which is very, very useful because the moment you pay it from your own pocket, you ensure that it has been utilized in a right fashion. So both direct and indirect of a proposal. So EBMOs, they should have a membership fees probably. Direct costs are directly attributable to the policy goals, while indirect focuses on the implementation purpose. The EBMO needs to identify where the burden is most likely to fall. What are the enterprises being asked to do and where? Will some sectors be more affected than others? Will the change impact more heavily on the owned enterprises? Will the change impact heavily on the growing sector of the economy? Will the change have more impact on SMEs, small and medium enterprises? Now, what are we looking out here as on the basis? So, as far as cost benefit analysis is concerned, the employees members organization must identify the benefits to understand the monetary terminologies or terms that we can quantify it. Where there is an uncertainty, make sure that the assumptions are spelled out. So assumptions needs to be figured out if things are not very clear or hazy. The extent to which stakeholder might be affected by the extent of the proposal should be identified. To strengthen the EBMO's cases, it is useful to provide practical example of what the figures or local businesses means around here. Crucial that what is said is clear, precise, backed by evidences and other constructive options for ways forward altogether as on when on basis. How do we go across this? On behalf of the members, the employees and the business members, remember they are the greatest asset. They give it validity for ILO's requirement. They will ensure that none of their interests are been hampered amount. In fact, that is the most representative organizations of employers with which government is obliged to consult, to sit, to discuss what exactly are issues. Having status alone will not be enough automatically to sway opinions in favors of the EBMOs. For members to value EBMO's advocacy efforts, advocacy must be on behalf of entire community, entire business community, entire membership community. Members must be given every opportunity to explain, to be involved in all form of businesses stages. Communication with members is essential as an amendment of fallback position and may have to be adopted. A full evaluation of the process and outcome must be a part of the strategy. Now, what are we looking into it? The internal buy-ins to ensure that the EBMO staff, board members understand the reasons for proposed intervention. The following questions must be answered. What is the problem? What are we looking for? Is the problem created or is the situation changed? What specifically happened that uh, things were not being planned for? What was the specific issue that we are trying to address? Now that is what we are looking to rectify, that position, that situation, and how to do it. What are the priorities that needs to be done? Is it on a short term basis, is it a one off time basis, or is it a long term basis? And what does the member business organization want in the first place as the question comes around it? So intervention framework, what do we go it? Once agreement reach that issue as a priority, a committee of the board or ad hoc member of the key member should be established to prepare intervention framework, setting out activities, time frames, responsibilities, expected outcomes, and the resources allocation thereby. The if will be guiding document on the basis of collaboration with others as on cases. How do we go across it? It must be remembered that the advocacy is a dynamic process requiring EBMOs to be flexible and well prepared with a fallback position as on when on basis. On basis of collaboration, as a part of preparations for an advocacy effort, a full analysis of stakeholders must be identified. So synergies can be identified and built on depending on the issues at hand. Interested parties are likely to be much broader than merely an other business groups as the case scenario. Churches, women groups, community groups, academics, environmentalists, interested individuals may well be potential collaborators with EBMOs to give a wider acceptance of an adopted position as on when on basis. Now, what are the coalitions that comes around it, and how do we bond together? How does it benefits? A formal coalition of a business groups usually have a coordinated advocacy issues. Why? Because coalition can be win-win situation, can be an ongoing formalized structures to create a deal on a single issue only. It's a win-win situation with only one end in mind. Having a formalized coalition presupposes that the key principle espoused upon it by the EBMOs are common, by ensuring that everything that they are working around is making much more concrete effort and effective. All coalition must reach an agreement. Important that the business community does not give different contradictory statements, and that might only confuses the general audience, the target audiences, but probably might be going making it impediment for the companies to work around it. Many large foreign-owned companies do not see value in joining EBMOs as they often have direct access to direct decision makers. So do not need an EBMOs to speak on their behalf, as the case might be. Now, we are talking of EBMOs in terms of only small and medium enterprises, probably. Given the status, however, it is important that EBMOs forms a close relationship with such key players, the big players, because the big players have a weightage when they have an opinion about it. It is necessary to know whether interests diverge from the EBMO's position on behalf of the member, so that the discussion can be held to ensure no disadvantages occurs to other companies if concessions are granted. Large foreign-owned companies should be encouraged to join national EBMOs as a part of the corporate and social responsibility program. Now, whenever there's a member organization, a group of members working together, conflict is bound to happen. So, EBMO must try to balance and iron out issues if they are within the member. Priority defining document as a strategic plan, the business agenda, are a defense against such kind of measures per se. How do we go around it? And that is what we should be looking for it. As advantages and disadvantages can occur over a period of time, implementation of proposal, it is important to undertake continued evaluation of policy change to report a long-term effort. We talk about members with a different groups, different viewpoint, different understanding, different expectation. Now these members, how do we manage them? They can only be managed if communication channel is open, and every effort has been taken to for an engagement from them. People should be engaged, come no matter what the point of view they come from. Having articulated policies, principles ensure members will not be taken by surprises by them. Keep members involved in all phases of policy development. It is very, very, very crucial for success. Somewhere to say about the soft advocacy, the hard advocacy. Remember, lobbying or liaising is the more of the formal interface with the government, not just a viewpoint uh, of the advocacies per se. And how do we go around it? Because liaising is carried by the public eye, it is often called as a hard evidences, whereas day-to-day activities of EVMOs, which are certainly to persuade and influences, are often as a soft advocacies. Deciding the place where advocacy is to be carried is are to be determined the appropriate message for the specific audiences. Remember, the platform is very important because the platform will ensure that the messages are being received by the target audiences, the manner in which it has to be delivered, who is the best person, organization to deliver the message, in what order the different audiences will be approached, how much of each segment will be costing. EBMers should meet regularly with decision makers, establish open channel of communication, and close working relationship with government officials. Such regular meetings helps to sensitize decision makers to the business concern then and there, as on when on basis. In all dealing with members, all staff and elected officials of EBMOs needs to listen and concern there. Now, this is what we should be going around it. Uh, how what needs to be done and how it is to be done. This, if we can ensure with such dealing, as in what can be done every now and then, you it helps you all together. Somewhere to say in the house, where how do we go across it? what needs to be there. A website is a key tool in advocacy, which with links with social media, you can, with the advent of social media, you can communicate within your member groups on a real time basis, almost on a real time basis. We can come up with certain research papers, comparison with similar economies can be established, ensuring the general public are keeping in the loop of things, probably educating the stakeholders, various stakeholders as the best practices and how does it goes around it, alerting members by email to a new material posted on the website. These are the things that will ensure that the overall profile is being raised, overall sensitivity towards the issue is being arranged altogether. Regular meeting with human resources and industrial relation practitioners enables networking as well as enabling with EBMOs to be appraised on the developing issues from a practical perspective as on when on basis. Nobody, as far as liaising and advocacy is concerned, can ignore the media. The media is an effective tool for public opinion because they can be helped to persuade general public. The concern of the business community are absolutely important. Too often, the only time of EBMO is reported in the media is when it is objecting to a government proposal. Regular meeting with newspaper editors, you building relationship with your media personalities, there's nothing going wrong, because this will help you, they will help you to reach a wider audiences in terms of television news producers. Building contact with reporters are very important, be it television, radios, newspaper, social media influencer. You have to look into the act or EMP, the ITC or the International Labour Organization guide, as in making sense of social media, a practical guide for employers organization perhaps. Now, the specific issues, all elements of advocacy should lead to some sort of intervention. It should stipulate where the phases of advocacies are to be carried and what are the audiences that needs to be taken into consideration. What is your target audience? It should identify the key messages, what is required, and that is what we are looking into it. Both soft and hard approaches is better. It is like hot and blow cold. The macro perspective and the micro perspective should always be addressed separately, and if they are working separately, they are working in tandem with one another, the effect, it is becoming more effective. So if all the positions are based on policy principles supported by compelling argument backed by research, then a hard approach is accepted as the EBM act purposefully of this member. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.